thank you for joining us for the Urban Academics Roundtable. Kicked off during COVID 2020, the academic year that wasn't. So we are living in a state of emergency around the world. We're in week 4 of an international pandemic, and we find ourselves back at the table trying to come up with a solution to issues surrounding children around, not even around us just now, but around the world. But we have to start somewhere. So, if we were CNN, and if CNN had our mindsets and thought about the things we thought about, it would already be done. So obviously those people are not the ones who have the real concrete ideas of what we should be doing and moving forward. And I believe we do. I believe we're called together for a real purpose, and we've been together for almost a year, a solid year. I think we missed maybe 2 or 3 sessions in all this time, and none of it ever hurt us. We stayed on the line for hours talking about children, and God, the elements hear that. Those are seeds planted all over. I'm sure there are monitors right here at this conference call place that hear some of the stuff we've talked about. You never know what God can do with seeds that we plant. So I thought it was a good idea to try to make better use of these segments, because other people should hear them because they're so awesome. And we can hear some things. Like, we have questions, and we don't know everything. So we are going to add a guest to this roundtable. And hello?
Hello?
Is that Lady Denise?
Yes, good evening.
Hi. It is so good to hear your voice.
Hey, how y'all?
Hello. It is so good to hear your voice. Oh, my God. It really is. It is. We were just saying our hellos. You haven't missed anything. We were just saying our hellos right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we are just on the line. I'm telling her we're on the line now. And tell her to come in at 9:45, so we can chat first for a minute before she gets on the call. We are on the line. Hold on one second. I'm sending her this, and then are you near your computer, Denise?
I am.
Okay, I'm
actually on my computer talking to you.
Either way, I just want to send you. I'm going to send you and Dre and Lady Kim just a little blurb on her, so you know what we're at least talking about, what she does. You already know she's the owner of the school that we had already been talking about. You have missed the last few meetings, but I have mentioned her. You were on one where she came up because we've been talking about it for a minute since the COVID thing. So she's the one who owns the school. And so my overarching, since I was a child, I felt like I should have a school, but I still never, I was never, convinced that I wanted to be around all these parents and stuff, but they were getting on my nerves over time. You know what I'm saying? But I love the children, so I kept going, but now I know it was God pushing me to go so that we could get to this place, and you all were part of that, because I swear, I'm strong-willed, and if I quit something, doggone it, I quit, and I came back a few times. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And every time I came back, there was never resistance. There was always, yes, go. You see what I'm saying? So I know now that it's bigger than us, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than PMOSH. PMOSH can't handle it. PMOSH is a tutorial program that runs a summer thing every year. You see what I'm saying? It's not about PMOSH. It's about us, those of us who have connected for a true purpose. And it's not about money. It's not about fame or fortune, but there's a lot of that attached to it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not about that. The time we're living in is crazy. But if we're not careful, they're going to slip laws in.
Your recording has reached the maximum length. To replay your message, press 1. To delete and re-record your message,
Did I
press
call
3.
somebody?
For delivery options, press 4. To send a fax, press 6. To cancel this message, press star. To send this message now, press pound or hang up.
Not me. It's somebody else, because I just called.
To replay your message, press 1. To delete and re-record your message, press 3. For delivery options, press... Because other people can hear them, because it's so awesome. And we can hear something. Like, we don't know everything. So we are going to add a guest to this roundtable. And... Hello?
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 Is that Lady Denise?
Hello?
Yes, Denise. Hi. It is so good to hear your voice. Come on.
This is Patrina. I don't know if it was my phone or not. I tried to get out of it, but it wasn't going anywhere, so I hung up. So I'm not sure whose phone that was dialing out, because I'm on speaker, so it couldn't have been me. I didn't dial anything, but I tried. Hello?
Hey, yeah, I'm back.
Denise?
Got cut off.
Hello?
Yeah, if it was my phone or not. I'm like, what?
I don't know. I thought it was my phone, but I'm on speakerphone. I didn't dial anything, but you never know with these phones, because everything on my internet was rebooted. Everything. I don't know these passwords. I don't know what they're doing. The world is I don't know what they're doing. But I'm telling you now, I had to go every single thing I signed in when I got here today. I had to figure out the password. So,
for your access code, followed by the
is that somebody's phone right there?
I hear something.
Denise?
for your access.
Access code.
Okay. Right. Who's doing that? We're already on the phone.
We're already on the phone. I don't understand that. Unless somebody's trying to
get in? Well, why we wouldn't be able to hear? That's supposed to be in their ear.
I know, exactly. That's
right.
Why I'm like, wait a minute. That makes no sense. Why you wouldn't be able to hear that?
Oh, we're talking about stuff.
Oh.
You know? Well, it's not approved? What do you mean? It's a JPEG. Oh. I don't understand anything that's going on. Denise, are you there? Denise? I can't tell you. Are you there, sweetheart? Hello?
Hello? Yes,
You there?
I am. I had to switch off my computer. My computer Wi-Fi keep going in and out, so it's been giving me bad signal.
Oh, that's what it was. I'm just like, is that? But still, we still heard. Oh, you were on two phones at one time.
Right, calling you.
Okay, that's what we heard, Dre.
Yeah.
Because we heard it. I thought the phones were going, like, I was like, oh, God, that's crazy. That's crazy. Because we could hear it say, your PIN or access code is accepted. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I was trying to get a line.
So I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad I'm back. So something did interrupt the line, though. We know that's true. But glad we're back on the call. And so I've asked her to come in at 9:45. And what I'm doing right now is about to send you both. I could send it to your phone if that's easier, but I'll send it to your phone from the PMOSH phone. That's what I'll do. So I'm just gonna put her name on it, Kaye Harvey, just so you know where I'm coming from. That's something for you all to know. So you can come up with a couple questions. I'm not thorough in the Montessori way, except I know that it's individual, person-centered learning, which is what the world is moving toward. And I believe it's like a combination of Montessori and artificial intelligence. But I don't know that all for certain. But that's my theory of what's going on in the computers. Based on, not just Montessori, but not just Montessori, but there are other schools of thought. Like now, everything is psychology. Everything is behavior. So they would rather spend the money on making sure kids act a certain way rather than spend the money on making sure kids know something. If you get what I'm saying. Like they don't care. You don't if you don't want your kid to learn, your kid's not going to learn.
In other words, it's about education, not educating.
There you go. That's my buzzword right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, because that's not what the line item doesn't say. Educate. They don't promise to educate. The word is, the line item is education, not educating. So they don't ever get to that part.
Education is a business.
Right. It's a line item. It's a budget, a guaranteed budget. So everybody fights for their share of it. And then what happens is, if you get some of it, then you control the jobs in your circle or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you become Big Willie on campus, whatever that means, But what we want to do is we want to dispel all of what they're saying about us. Like, we're basically, if you're not a parent right now, who cares about education? Like, you don't go buy books, you don't go buy books. You probably aren't going to start buying books. COVID is not going to make you do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. And so what happens to the children who are in the houses, in the homes of parents who don't feel like this? We just don't do nothing. We just let them fall by the wayside. In a minute, I promise you, the laws that's coming through now, I promise you the government is no longer responsible for educating kids. They're passing that to parents. And I have the document to prove it in my hand. It was written by Obama, not by Trump. And it was written in 2010. So in 2012, the first group of kids took their standardized test virtually. That was the first year they did it. And so they've been doing it since, right? So they're ready inside, like they're ready internally, but they have no clue how to be ready externally. And this was the wrong way and the wrong time to try to do it. You know what I'm saying? You have to plan stuff like that. And at the same time, it's such a big undertaking that you almost had to shock everybody with it and then change the whole world at the same time. So with that said, we're going into New World Order and all of that stuff.
Right. So
there's no doubt about it. I've been sleeping to Revelation. And did someone enter?
I didn't hear anything.
I thought I heard a little bit. But I just know that if this is Kay calling me, she's got to call the line. Hold on a second. Hello?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, that was her calling me instead of the line. So I told her to give us another 5 minutes so we could finish this little chat because we got started a little later than and we had a few technical difficulties. And I wanted to send you this little blurb. And there's so much more. It's just something I threw together right now so that we know that every week you'll have this for the person who's coming. You see what I'm saying? We'll have, like I would love memberships for different states. So there would never be anyone who could ever trump you from South Carolina or trump you from Boston. However, anyone who comes in from Boston, you know, you would be the person they work with. You see what I mean? So we want to build up areas so that we could get to these politicians quicker. Girl, when I said we were going to go 5 cities at a time every 6 months, even I thought I was stupid. Not stupid, but even I thought, like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, 5, what you going to do with them? You know what I'm saying? And then it seemed like we were taking our time and we wasn't getting stuff right and we were missing stuff. And it was like, then I got the doggone civil service stuff. And then I felt like I abandoned y'all and it was all the guilt with it. And then it was the holidays. I'm sorry for the noise. It was the holidays and then we you know, took a break. And then it seemed like we weren't going to get back together. Then I said, Lord, did you have to shut the world down? Did you have to shut it down? Come on now. I'm telling you, I did not hear my calling until 2019. I knew for certain what I was born for in 2019, and it's education. And I'm not saying PMOSH. I'm just saying education. Urban Academics came years ago, but I didn't get the website and all that stuff till 2019 when the vision started coming clear. So it was hard to share everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's still hard. You can't do everything in your time. We have to, God's timing is better than mine, yours, or anyone else's. But I know that we have to be in the front. We have to be in the forefront of the change because we deserve change. The teachers deserve change. They've been striking for years. Y'all don't give them no money. You know what I'm saying? The buses monopolized. You got one bus company in every city who get all the money from all the buses. What about the other bus companies? You know what I'm saying? Like the boards of education is a budget line item, and it's political. It is the epitome of what political policy is. If you want to know why teachers spend their own money buying supplies, not because the school don't have a budget for it. The red tape, it takes 30 days to get some pencils. And they have a warehouse of stuff. I'm telling you. I'm not saying it take a month to get it after they order it. It's around the corner. Just tell me I could go over there. Send me a voucher through email. Put my name on a list. Give me a budget. Something. Can't we do that in a day? Can't we send a runner over there to get some tissue and supplies? No. So it's easier for the teacher to go to Dollar Tree and buy some tissue and some pencils and some paper, so they can keep their sanity. They deserve change, but you can't change like this. You can't dump all of this in inner city, century 21st century, inner city Title I families. The devil is a liar. We can't let them do that.
Right.
And I don't care what their parents have done. They're not parents. They're children. And so Kaye is someone who has started in the community. She watched me grow up. She filled in for my mother many and many times. I've known her my whole life. And there have been times when every bit of our relationship could have been severed, and we both choose each other over anything. The same way I feel about Lady Kim, the same way I feel about Lady Denise, and the same way I feel about you, Dre. So we won't always agree on everything. We won't. Right. We can't. That's why we're all different, and that's why we're all here. We are able to say what we got to freaking say.
Right.
That's why we are here. That's why God chose us. He didn't just say Patrina.
Right.
It's more than just us. They're coming from everywhere. We're setting up the table. And see, now that listen, not even 60 days, I wasn't in either of the two roles. I have a state contract with the State Department of Education right now. So every bit of information I get is coming straight from the top. I would not have had access to this information 60 days ago. Do y'all hear me? I was home doing nothing since civil service except trying to figure out how to get to McKinney-Vento, because that contract was already written. It was never signed. They didn't spend none of that money. It's still sitting there because they were frozen, because this is not a coincidence. None of it. And that's how we know it, because we've been on the phone talking about it every week, and we've been talking about how the climate is so weird in different places. And I can't wait to find the time to go back and transcribe all of those. It's going to be a book. It's already written. We wrote it every hour. We were on the phone every week, sometimes for 2 hours, talking about nothing but education, academics, what to do, how to get our kids up and running. But the parents have always been a problem. That's where Title I came from. They wanted parental involvement. That's what they wanted. And they never got it. So Obama was like, parents, how could you not want to be involved? Like, that's a problem from the very beginning. How could you have a child and then not want to be involved in the only thing they got is school right now? What else do they have? They got you at home and some teacher at school. What goes on in school is partially their business anyway.
Right.
And now instead of making the parents stand up, we just turned the education system over to mental health. So it's now all behavioral, like a jail. I don't want them in those schools. I want the schools to close. Or be reformed if you're going to reform. But how are you going to reform a system with the same people who wrote the first one? They're the same people. Those are the same folks who wrote it. They're still living. They're not all dead. And they holding them spots forever. They call them lawmakers. But tell me why the blue and the red not fighting right now. Why are they in harmony now? Because all that money is on the table and they get to split it. The real purpose for why they're there. They don't care about your children. Especially if you don't care about your children, the parents ain't asking no questions. They're not. And so I want us to ask Lady Kaye some questions. I want us to ask her some questions, not just about Montessori, but about education, her thoughts, past, present, and future. She's been in the field a long time. She's seen some things happen that weren't always pretty. Montessori is not for Black people, right? People who send their kids to Montessori schools. Hello.
Good evening, Kaye Harvey.
Hi, this is Lady Kaye Harvey entering the line. Okay, so we'll end this powwow before the powwow. And so before I introduce you, Lady Kaye Harvey, I just want to tell the world about the Urban Academics Roundtable. We are actually launching right now. You are absolutely a founding member as one who is present on this call, and you will forever be etched in the stones and the walls and the seats and anywhere Urban Academics goes. You will forever be a part of that for being part of this launch, along with Andre Evans, Lady Denise Latson Johnson, and Kim Singletary, who will be joining us in a little bit, probably, knowing her schedule, and myself, Patrina Reddick. So this roundtable convenes to allow dialogue through a platform designed specifically for school administrators, parents, teachers, students, and political figures tied to education. All students matter, but these roundtables are intended for those involved with students enrolled at and attending Century 21st, inner city, and or Title I schools across the country. The overarching goal of the Urban Academics Roundtable is to build up a database of the most influential folks on earth in the academia arena to help us accomplish the goal of planting academic establishments in every state across the country where students will excel, whether in the classroom, community, or at home. This group is exclusive, and an invitation is sent. An invitation to sit at this table is offered to people involved motivating our students higher, and by invitation only. And, people who don't recognize PMOSH as an acronym won't know that that's an acronym for PMOSH. But anyone involved in working with children is PMOSH. That P up there is not Patrina involved in motivating our students higher. It's people involved in motivating our students higher. And with that said, I'm going to introduce our lady, Kim. Dre, if you would introduce Kim for us, that would be great. Can you do that or no?
Yeah, I could do that.
Let's do that. Let me introduce to you, Kay. This is Andre Evans. He is a television producer and a public speaker around the country, and he is the founder of Beam TV. So he leads our Boston area, Boston, Massachusetts, and we also have Denise Ladson Johnson here, who runs PMOSH in Charleston. So we have Boston and Charleston represented. I'm taking care of New Haven and Charlotte really at the moment, and you will hear from Lady Kim later, and she is from Phoenix, Arizona. So go ahead, Sir Andre.
Yeah, Lady Kim is Kim Singletary. She's also a teacher. She teaches acting at John Casablanca in Phoenix, Arizona. She's been doing that for quite some time. She's very talented in all different levels, different skills. She's also a visionary as well. And we work together on different projects, known her for about over 20 years. But she's very resourceful, and hopefully she'll be on this call at some point.
I think she will be. I think she'll join us a little bit later. That's what we planned anyway, so we hope she'll join us. So let me introduce to you Kaye Harvey, a detailed-oriented executive director with over 25 years of experience in positive youth development. Her ability to build relationships and maintain partnerships with children and families while facilitating funding for new business initiatives and programs through strong federal, state, local, municipal, as well as private sectors, which always increases the overall productivity and profitability. That is one run-on sentence that I will change quickly. Help me welcome Lady Kaye Harvey to Urban Academics Roundtable. This is where we clap, but we'll use some sound effects. So we'll have some sound effects, and we can each make up a sound or a noise. But this is a real thing, Lady Kaye. So you're part guinea pig and part real guest because you're my family. So you got to give us a pass for sort of tweaking this thing from your initial launch, which is why you get to be a founding member here, because you're part of the launch, and it'll be Alexis Montessori School Incorporated. And you notice that I put schools. Yeah. I did that on purpose. I don't know if you noticed.
I did notice it.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. I really did. Yeah. So I love the sound of it. And so I have pretty much been talking about you for the last two collaborative partnerships. And these are folks that are in that, and that's for PMOSH. Urban Academics is for anybody. Urban Academics, we want members from everywhere in the country. So that mission to add 5 new cities every 6 months has just escalated. So everybody needs to find 5. You see what I'm saying? Like, we need to pump this thing up because they're going to snatch. The laws are changing under our nose. And right now, the federal government is responsible for educating our kids. They're breaking the law every day. The kids are not in school. Mm-hmm. You think they don't know that? They're lawmakers. Mm-hmm. We don't know that. We don't think about that. We're thinking about a stimulus check. That's all we're thinking about. So they got us right where they want us, but they don't have me right where they want me. And so I'm willing to lay my life down. I'm willing to go, listen, now because I'm in the situation that I'm in, that I wasn't even in 6 months, two months ago, 60 days ago, I have real information, all with the right people to contact. If you don't think I'm going to invite them to this round table, I am. So please get some real questions for these people, because I'm going in. I found the one who did the very first test run of one of the virtual schools. Guess where he is, Dre?
What's that?
Guess where he is? That's why I know God is with us. He's in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Right. Wow. And somebody else I found, guess where they at, Denise? I know you got us on mute. They're in Charleston. They're in Charleston, and guess what their specialty is? Special education. Go figure. You're kidding me, right? Charleston will make you think there are no special ed kids in Charleston. Just like they don't want you to think there's a Title I school there. It took us a month to find the Title school. Okay, we had to go through the feds to get the Title I schools in Charleston.
Wow.
Because you can't find them. They got them hidden somewhere. Google can't find them. And if Google can't find you, you don't want to be found. You don't. But we brought you here to help us move ourselves along with regard to the COVID-19 crisis that we find ourselves in with our students all over the country, and then their parents are really, really lax. So, and for good reason, people have their own feelings about things, but I'm more concerned with what's going to happen when we realize that we just had a summer break, and here comes summer break. Like, what are we going to do then? Like, what are we going to do when we just had 2 summer breaks and September comes and they just keep extending until people that's in the 3rd grade are graduating from middle school and the parents didn't do nothing? And what I'm saying is that they know the parents who want their children to learn will do what's necessary. They also know there's a group of parents who won't, and I'm coming for you all who think you're leaving them behind, because you're not. So I'm putting Kaye on blast now, and you're here to definitely talk about Alexis Hill Montessori School, which is going to be a part of Urban Academics as a partnership with PMASH. We haven't put all the pieces together yet, but Kaye has had Alexis Hill Montessori Schools Incorporated since 2005, which would put us in a perfect position to jump anyone who thinks about putting in an application with 2020 on it. Right? That's called Great Minds Think Alike. You know what I mean? Like, you go in, you try to go get an application now for a charter school, it's not going through. I wouldn't send it through. I wouldn't. But for someone who's been in business since 2005, you're not asking for a school. You just want to move your school virtual. That's a whole different conversation, and it's a whole different piece. Like, we don't even know what's going on, and I can't wait to share it. But we want Kaye to be able to talk about Alexis Hill, what you see as a vision, just right here at the ground, right here, before we even really have a formal agreement. Just at the ground, what do you see as the possibilities so far, and how can we as individuals in different states, you're in Connecticut right now, you're actually in New Haven right now, we're in different states, and I know you've had some contact with the Board of Ed since you've been there, and you know some stuff about their strategic plan, so you could share that with us as well, and that means you would be taking care of the New Haven piece of what's going on academically tonight. So I'm going to give you the floor, introduce yourself, exhaust us with everything you know about the Montessori model and how we've been talking about making sure people have options. So we want to have all the options that we can, almost like a menu, like person-centered education, the same way they do person-centered therapy for kids with behaviors. You know what I'm saying? If you could think about what they want, you could think about what the kids on the right track want so they don't go to the bad side. But, Lady Kaye, you're on.
Well, I want to thank God for allowing Sister Reddick to just be and with her gifts. It's just been an honor to be able to be in her presence and to be in God's presence, and then to bring me to this round table with all of the talent. I don't know each and every one of you, but I know if Sister Trina brought you here, you are gifted. And it's just an honor to be able to sit amongst you all. I'm humbled, I'm well-abled, and I'm better than good today. And I just want to start out with how I got to Montessori, and almost 40 years ago, about 37 years ago, I was an inspector for the Department of Agriculture in New York City, and I was responsible for inspecting daycares in all 5 boroughs. And this one particular day, I went to a daycare, and it was so different from what I had been experiencing throughout my inspections. And I asked the teacher what was going on, and I was not familiar with Montessori at all, had never heard of it. And I wanted to know what was going on in that environment, because it was so different. And she gave me the best elevator explanation she could give me in the time period, but all I know is that I knew I wanted to have some kind of a connection with the methodology. So, and at that time I had a 1-year-old. So I also wanted my 1-year-old involved in that particular school, which I was able to manage to make happen. And at that time, I said to God, I said, you know what, Lord, given the opportunity at any time, I would love to introduce this to my community. I said, I see it working with our children. I truly believe in the premise that Maria herself started with, and that all children, given the opportunity, all children have the creative potential, just given the creative environment with the facilitators equipped to handle, the children and their gifts. So I said, Lord, I will do that. Well, about 10 years later, I was introduced to a woman in New Haven, and she made it possible for me to go to a training school in New York. And I said, here it is. It just all fell in place. And that actually took place in like around 1990, maybe 88, between 88 and 1990. And I was then given an opportunity to facilitate a youth program in New Haven that came with a building. And I said, oh, my Lord, look at this. Look at how you work, Father. So immediately I said, here we are. We have the opportunity to have a Montessori program in our community. And so we actually started in 2000 in that particular building. in New Haven, Connecticut. I was able to get my staff trained at the Montessori Training School at the College of New Rochelle. I took training for an administrator, and then I took the training for the teacher education so that I could understand what my teachers were doing and what they needed, and so I could provide the best support for the teachers. And I was just so, again, humbled with the way God, he said, remember your words to me, my daughter. I'm giving it to you here. And so we were able to launch Montessori in the Hill, which the acronym MIST, in 2000. And in that building where I was the executive director for youth programs. And as time went on, we were able to then take the Montessori piece and actually apply for the 501c3 and all those other 501s and 6s and BCs, 3s that we have as a designation. And we were granted our status in 2005. And so I'm just happy to be a participant in the roundtable, because if we don't step forward and work with our families, our parents, and our children, and our leaders in our community, who's going to do it? So it is our responsibility, those who are given those opportunities and those chances and privileges, to be able to make change and are willing to risk, everything for the betterment of our children and our families and our community, then that is what we need to do. And again, I thank you, Sister Patrina, for having the insight and the wherewithal and the tenacity and perseverance to continue in the journey of education, and seeing and the opportunities that God has provided for you, and then to be able to make this entity, this vehicle, be fueled with the richness, that I'm feeling through this phone right now, this evening. So, Andre and Denise and Lady Kim, I thank each and every one of you for the work that you do in your respective cities. And again, if we don't do it, shame on us, and we can't complain. We can't yell and scream and moan and groan if we, just sit back and do nothing and say nothing. So, as the Every Student Succeeds Act, that was signed by President Obama, oh gosh, whenever it was signed, it is something that will give us a blueprint, I think, and for us to be able to have as a foundation, a starting point for discussion. And I don't know. What else am I supposed to talk about?
You have said a whole bunch. There's so much you could talk about. I know that your heart has always been for the young people, always.
Yes.
Like, I remember, you know, like, I know education is the way to get by. I know it's the way to get by because it's the only way I got by. Like, there were people in the community after school. That was you. There were people in the community in the morning before school. That was you. There were people when you came out in the afternoon, in the evening. That was you. You know what I'm saying? So you were consistent, and that's what made the difference. And that's what made the difference for me and so many other young people, not just me. I'm just glad I'm able to say thank you every now and again. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad I'm one who remembers, like, so much. Like, I remember way more than you. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay. That's the way it should be. You know what I mean? So I can pay that all forward. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to do. But I can't do it by myself. And I don't want to. It's no fun all alone. You know what I'm saying? It's no fun watching all of it happen. Like, I can only see pieces. I can't see it all. And I want these guys to get to know you a little bit because I know we'll all be working together. Because our goal is to plant schools. We want them to have their own schools, too. They want schools, too, and they can't go apply for a school right now. You see what I'm saying? So there has to be some kind of umbrella, the same umbrella, Kay, that you and I tried to do years ago with who? The Citywide Youth Coalition.
Right.
70 agencies, guys. Am I joking?
Right. No,
and my job. Let me just tell you something about Lady K. My life with her doesn't begin with work. Like I'm saying, I was a little kid kicked out of school, and my mother worked at a factory. You know, once she did later. Earlier in life, she was home with me doing what y'all are doing on Coronas because she was home. My father took care of us, but when he went home to back to Charlotte, she had to get a job. And when she did, she got one at a factory, and you couldn't get to her. She wasn't in the room for Mark or Monet being born because she couldn't get off of work. They was born at the wrong times of the day. She couldn't come to the school to get me back in. Kay stood in for my mother a couple of times because she just couldn't come, and I had to go back to school. Kay wasn't going to let me be outside just hanging out. And, so she came in and took care of me many times. That's what matters. That's why we need schools. That's why we need interaction with grown people who care, people that are involved, motivating our students, not people involved because I get paid Thursday. You see what I'm saying? People involved because I don't know what I was doing this morning, but girl, come on to the school. I don't know what I was getting ready to forget all about where she was going and bring me back to school. These people don't exist anymore. We have to go get these 50, 70, 60-year-old directors that's in these seats whose names are at the bottom of all these pages God keeps sending me with their direct email, and don't nobody email them because you ain't never seen their names before. They so deep in the 200 people who work in one department. That's where the problem is. That's where the problem has always been. That's what Obama was trying to show. But what Obama pulled out, if we allow it to be manipulated through Trump's administration, it's not going to go right. You know what I'm saying? So, it's, I believe school has to change. I believe education has to change. But you can't change it without transitioning through people like Lady K, like Denise. Like Denise's cousin who's running that kitchen down there in Charleston doesn't charge people for the food, okay? They can pay what they want. That's ministry. That's what ministry is. That's why the churches are closed. The Bible said it would be desolate. The Bible talks about empty mausoleums. I thought they were just talking about the church. I didn't know it was the church and the school and the libraries too. Come on, that's where all the knowledge is transferred. In the church, the school, or the library. That's where all the information is in the library. They locked us out the library. You talking about voting. We died to vote. We died to get the vote. What you voting for? Where they at now? They fighting who? Who's fighting? The blue, the black, the green? The Republicans, the Democrats, nobody's fighting because they can split this money that's on the table that they just got because they didn't run school for a whole month. Come on. Like, we got to open our eyes and not be scared. Like, we're scared of our own shadows. What you got to lose? They can shut you down in 24 hours and nobody asks no questions. That's what's concerning me more than anything else. People don't even have questions.
Right.
They just complied. Just complied, just dull, like paralyzed is what the lady said. A state of paralysis.
Wow.
You know, and we could be on a line though and talk forever. That's why I'm trying to bring the ones whose names are on the bottom of these papers. Those are the ones I'm going for. So it's at the top. So we got to be ready because they're going to come back. And I'm sick of them. I've been sick of them. I'm telling you, Kay knows. When I started in my early 20s working for Yale University School of Medicine by way of the App Foundation, because I graduated with my bachelor's degree and they didn't give me no raise and they didn't give me no promotion, and I called Kay. And I said, look at here. These people help me pay for a degree that don't even matter to them. And I told her, I said, I just bought a house. And I'm going to walk out of here somehow because I don't understand stuff like that. I applied for 3 jobs, and I didn't get them. 3 is the magic number, and that's it. The very next day, Kay said, I know where to go here and meet this person. And it was all set. And I'm going to write the story someday about what happened next. But needless to say, I ended up working for Yale University School of Medicine and had the pleasure of working with Kay running an organization. Part of that role was to help her with Citywide Youth Coalition, which was all the agencies in the whole city that worked with, like, minorities. So all these other people would come in, and they could just write a simple grant and get all this money. And it was like they want us to write 10 pages to get $5,000, and then you offer us $1,500. And that got on my nerves in my 20s. So you know it gets on my nerves now. You know what I'm saying? So we used to talk big back then, and they didn't get it. We used to say, why can't we? It's 70 of us, 70 agencies. Some have been around for years. Excellent management, clean, good people. But we couldn't come together to go after $1 million and then split it based on what the service is. Why couldn't we find a way to make sure everybody at the table was able to do what they did, even if they had to partner with another person who did that? We could teach them how to do it. It's not too late. I mean, that's probably why we're here doing this, because people don't know how to work with the children. They know how to show up and go to work and do what they're told, and then the children that are a problem, there's a process for what you do with those kids. But they don't know how to work with the children. They don't know how to make friends with them. They don't know how to interact, build rapport, transfer some love a little bit sometimes because it's needed sometimes. That's what's missing, And if the hourglass has really flipped over and this is the beginning of whatever, then this is maybe the last shot we get at changing policy, and that's what I'm after. So that means politicians, and that means these people whose names are at the bottom of these forms. And they're pouring in, I'm telling you. It's a rabbit hole. I can't stop them. And they got a whole brand new group of the community for did I send you the list of them, Kay? Did I send you the list of all the new organizations?
No.
Oh, no, I got you. Oh, my God. These are just political kids. They're children. With the money they just got. They just got the budgets. That's why the budgets are gone before they ever hit the communities. Gone. We got money for this. We got money for that. We got money for this. Woo-hoo, we got money for that. No, we don't. They do. No, we don't. All we got is right now they owe us our education. And we better take it if it ain't nothing but in the form of money. You better put, now even the schools, listen, they said the kids can graduate this year without going to school. They just giving out 2020 graduates. They're making history. Why not? Why not just have the party, pop the bottle? They just, yeah. Third graders, the reading requirement. Nah, we don't need that. Standardized tests, none of that. We don't need no school this year. And everything your kids do is considered enrichment. It's not considered academics. But guess what I read?
What?
In the documents that I get now, that I'm a contractor for the state of North Carolina for 60 days. God is blazing. He's blazing all by himself. I'm telling you. His timing is impeccable. Those schools that's falling for I'm telling you, the very elect won't make it in. Y'all better hear me on the phone. The very elect won't make it in. If those schools don't apply to have these things waived, nothing they say is going to hold true for these students.
Wow.
So their fate is in the hands of the board, trickling down, whoever the board designated to read the stuff or get on these calls or whatever. And the inner city Title I, Century 21 schools don't have no protocol for that kind of stuff. I know because I worked in them for years.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have no protocol. Like, they don't know who was supposed to do it. Oh, I was supposed to go to the meeting. I was supposed to go. Oh, you didn't get on the call? You don't know? I get on the call, and I have my phone on record.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to, come on, this is war, but we don't know who's fighting who. How many people died in those wars? I know we up to 30,000 people dead. This is a war. This is a rapture of sorts.
Wow.
If that number is 144, ooh, what Jehovah's Witnesses going to say that day? I don't know what they're going to say, but maybe they're the only ones going to heaven? That can't be true. I don't know, but not a debate on religion. But I'm just saying. I'm talking about education, not religion or politics, but education is political.
Yes.
And think about it. The church, the school, and the library.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't been open since they shut them down. Everybody, people got fines because they were trying to do the 10 people rule, and they shut certain industries down. And you can't do 10 people because you're not on the list to do 10 people, and we know who on the list to do 10 people. So they was giving out them $500 fines.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they were. And so I'll keep going on forever. I'm sorry. I'm so in it because I'm reading so much and I have so much to share with you guys. But I want you to ask Kaye some questions, and it's already late. So I'm gonna put my phone back on mute, so if I say something, you can't hear me. So, Andre, you go from Boston. Then, Kaye, you can chime back in on what you think the climate is in New Haven based on that 5-year plan that you know about. And then Denise, Denise goes before New Haven. Denise is from Charleston. Then I'll do a summary on Charlotte, and then you come in with New Haven. And hopefully Kim should be chiming in any minute, and then she'll come in right after you.
Okay.
So, Dre, you're up.
Yeah.
Hello, Dre.
Well, basically, hi, how are you?
I am better than good, thank you.
I'm blessed. I'm from Boston, born and raised. And the thing is, there's a lot of confusion here with the educational developmental aspect, and I'm not liking it at all. I don't think anybody is. But the problem is that I don't see anything happen with these schools. I said this before. I am a visionary, and I say in the next 3 to 5 years, or I'll say this. In 25 years, there ain't going to be any more schools. They'll close them down. They'll be in a museum because, well, you got the Internet now, and these kids are drawn toward the Internet. And I really don't see, now they're talking about, I just heard an announcement today that they were going to close the schools until 2022. And I'm thinking, no, I just don't see them opening the schools back up. I really don't. Because, I mean, you got teachers going on strike, got parents pulling their kids out of school, not so much because they can't afford it, but because they don't feel safe or secure with all the, the mishaps and the violence that's going on. So that pulls away from the schools. And if you pull so much away from the schools that just leaves the school in the dust, basically. So that leaves the parents saying, well, we're going to continue an education through another source. We're going to have them go on the internet or homeschooling. So I think that's going to be the future of education in terms of Boston. I don't know about other cities, but from what I see here, being born and raised here, and just watching the patterns of how things work, everybody's going to want to go on the internet. They've been talking about that for years anyway, getting an education on the internet, which I don't really agree to a point, because there's certain things that just won't work, because we used to always hear that there are no shortcuts. You know, what if a kid wants to be a doctor? Will you go on and get a degree in 6 months and already, you got your residency, you already be a doctor? I don't think so. That's where we're at right now. Everything is so condensed because everything is so easy now. You can just go on the internet, go on Google and find out what X plus Y is, or what 2 and 2 is, or anything like that. Everything is so easy now. But the problem with that is the parents, like Patrina's always talking about. The parents ain't asking no questions. And the problem is everybody's afraid of their own shadows here in Boston. Everybody's running for cover because nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to step up because they become victims of this COVID-19 and the new so-called New World Order. Everybody is just like, burying their heads in the holes, and that's what I see going on here. But I do actually have a question. Where do you see education as a whole, just from your experience?
It is the basis for everything that we need in order to be productive human beings. In order for us to be able to contribute to this society, we need to know how to read, write, and do arithmetic.
Yes.
The bottom line, I mean, the basics, and if we would just be able to exchange the information so that the child is just thirsty, continues to be thirsty. We've drained our children because there's so much pressure on the children today, because they see so much, they get so much information so quickly and so soon, that the focus on the basics are gone. And so here we are, just graduating children, knowing 2 months early that are they really going to be prepared, because all of this happens so quickly. And how unfair is that to these young people? How unfair is it that they don't get the opportunity to walk across the stage and throw their cap up in the air and switch the tassel and just be in a social setting to where there's going to be congratulatory hugs and, just the pride, the joy, the happiness that takes place when a parent can see their child graduate. You've worked 12 years with your child to get them to this point, and how dare our government deprive our families of this particular opportunity? How dare they not have the chance to partake in all of the past rituals, the proms and the class nights and all those things that have gone on prior to 2020. So, we have to, I'm going to say honestly, I'm a segregationist. I really, truly believe that integration killed our ability to be able to educate the children in our community, because now the classrooms are filled with white women who cannot relate to our children, as we, not having the male role model in front of them, not having the the African American and the people who live in their community. You know, I truly believe that we've gotten so far away from community, and what that takes. And it takes us being able to know how to have a dialogue and to have a conversation, not feel intimidated. And that's what education, you get that from reading, writing, and doing arithmetic. You know, it builds your confidence level up to where you say, I can sit at the table with double PhDs and I have a bachelor's degree. Okay? But I'm not intimidated by them.
Right.
That's what education is to me.
Right.
Just the basics. And it is our responsibility to make sure that our children have the best resources, have access to the best, you know, whether it's the latest technology, the latest books that are being written, and sometimes, you know, looking at some of those books that we had access to that they've taken off the reading list. You know, and I'm like, you know, let's look at this reading list. I mean, are they even, you know, providing that for families now? Here are the recommendations that we have for your children or your child for this year. Here's you know, what we see as a tool that your child, this list here of books, and just having the chance to be able to go into the building. The parents nowadays don't even. I would love to know what the percentage of parents whose children are graduating in 2020, how many times they've actually walked into the school building and sat down with the principal or sat down with the teachers in the school and asked them, you know, what is their vision for education.
Right.
As the teacher, as the leader of this school, you know, how are you educating my child and all the other children? It is our role and our responsibility to do those things. That's what, you know, it takes everybody. It takes the parents. It takes the teacher, the administrator. It takes the minister. It takes everybody to educate one child. And if that one child has the support from the various entities, that child can walk out and conquer, you know, any Goliath. Just knowing that they've been supported and that people believed in them and that they were told, you need to know how to pick up a book and want to pick up a book and read it.
Right.
You want to pick up, you know, a math and a science book and understand how this world works with numbers. You can't escape it. You know, you can't escape words. You need to be able to use them so that people understand where you're coming from. So education to me is a group effort. It's everybody. It takes everybody, you know, starting at home with the parents, and then as we entrust our children, because that's what we do. When they leave our home, we entrust them to other adults who we have been told, you know, have the proper tools and skills, knowledge base to be able to transfer to my child. Well, then again, it's my responsibility to make sure that that's happening as the parent.
Right.
So true.
That's right. Very true. Very, very true. Denise, chime in and ask your questions, but let Kay know what's going on down in Charleston, and as a parent to babies who are at different academic levels. Ooh, yeah, you got some special. You got early learning, you got high school, and you got post-second. Ooh, let me get on mute.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good evening.
Amen.
I was introduced to Montessori also as well with child care and licensing. I actually was a child care licensing specialist here in Charleston. So my first encounter with Montessori, actually walking into one and doing the inspection, because it was totally different, and just the way of teaching. Was definitely different, and I like that. I like a whole lot. And I was also thinking, about, schooling. Me and Miss Patrina and Andre and everybody I was just, speaking about this about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. I was like, we need a school. We need, even if it's like Urban Academics, and even implementing Montessori with it, just a different, unique, cultural, academic type of learning, because I just think, like, what's going on now in the world, in the economy, everything is switching, changing, transitioning, and along with the schooling, all that is transitioning and turning around. I have a 5-year-old who is 4K. And then, like Ms. Patrina said, I have a 9th grader, and then I also have a college student. All their, everything got cut short with them, with school. Especially my son, they left for spring break, and he hasn't returned back to school. He never did online, This is his sophomore year in college. The professors, some of them are foreign. Just a different dynamic and everything from it. Then also, you got to remember, he's a black male. He's 19 years old. So some of the things that he's implementing, as far as I'm, and I thank God for it, that that my family helped me at a younger age with him, that I got him in a routine for study habits, because we were in Charlotte and I didn't have him in public. I had him in Northwest School of Art. And, just trying to get him into, I was not really focused on sports with him, because I know he had athleticism with him. But at the same time, I wanted him to be able to know how to study, how to implement studying habits, and, concentrating, and just knowing the importance of him being professional in doing things that, with what he's doing now. So he's adjusting. My daughter, who's 9th grade, and even with this, it's kind of like a trauma with him, because it's like, okay, wait a minute, we were just in school and now, boom, there's no school. But for me, I know every household wasn't teaching their kids like me, but I also always told my kids that school is a privilege. It was a privilege. Because you can do K-12 at home, you can do homeschooling, you can do whatever. But I also, let them know the importance of school and what we were doing in the household. And I the math, science, everything, is important here in the household. But also there's other things that needs to be implemented in schools. Everything, like the technique of studying, writing notes for class, cursive writing, signing their names, signatures, and knowing how to research and go deep into research, not just, hey, writing this and this is that, researching, knowing what you're researching. So I think that this is a great time. This is a great time, a great opportunity. And I would just want you to just let me know, like, what's the difference between, or how do you see the charter in a Montessori? Charter schools, vice versa, Montessori, and then also as far as getting it approved. Is it? Do you think that the process? And I know every state's are different. With a Montessori, vice versa, having a charter school, because I am just full blown that it's needed here in Charleston. Definitely, we need. We have charter schools, we have Montessori schools here. We also have a high school, which is, an all-black high school, Burke High School, which is, transit. It was a magnet and it was a high school, but that is it that we have for our urban culture here in Charleston. We even have, we have the different, I would say like the special schools or whatever, like academic, art school, but have to, some of those kids that's being elected has already been in special dance classes, recitals, and things like that their parents were able to afford weekly tuition, so they were able to fulfill the audition. So I'm also thinking about our kids, the urban kids, like what's here in Charleston. Like I said, like Ms. Patrina said, there's a lot of things hidden here in Charleston because they just don't want, I guess they don't want to accept it, or they don't want to open up the resources here. But I'm here to open, broke the doors down. I'm here. I want to be a whistleblower here because it's much needed, and we're hurting here. And that's just my whole spiel about what I got going on here in Charleston, and is more things. But like I said, I just want you to just let me know the difference and how you would be able to maneuver, or even if it's online, because I just feel like it should be an urban online a platform, online platform. I mean, I don't know, because I don't feel comfortable right now saying, hey, I want my kids to go to school. I always had the thing, as far as wanting my kids to be homeschooled, and just different things that I was doing with trying to give them growth here in the household. But, I have my own, issues and my own perspective of what's going on here anyway. So, I just feel like it should be some type of urban, I don't know, Montessori online, whatever, because, there's a lot of African Americans and urban, that's opening up as far as, hey, I don't even want to take my kids back to school because I don't want my kids to have to get this vaccine in order for them to even be accepted. Saying like different guidelines that they're going to implement in order for us to have our kids actually going to school. One thing for my daughter, they mixed up a vaccine for her, a shot. My daughter's going in, she's going to 15 next year. I mean, and another, they told me in order for me to put her, that she would be able to get accepted in school, that I needed her to get this vaccine, that they made a mistake and gave it to her early, at the age of 10.
Whoa.
So now they want to go backtrack and give her that vaccine in order for me to be able to, put her in school, this high school in this different district. But me, I already had another shot record. I wasn't even going by that. Even, the doctor's office was telling me, oh, we got to give her a shot record. She won't be accepted in school. Whatever y'all saying, I'm not getting my daughter another shot. I'm not doing all. And I used what I had, and fortunately it did work. But then, like I said, there's another round that's coming, and these going to be different vaccines, different things that are going to be required. And I know they are. That's going to say, hey, this is you can't come to school unless they have this. You can't get a passport unless you have this. So, and I don't want my kids getting the vaccine.
Right.
I may be one of those students. One of those parents that's going to say, no, I refuse to give them this vaccine, and I'm not letting them go back to public school.
There was a protest last month here in Connecticut at the state legislature building, in regard to just that. The parents were like, we have a right, our religious rights, our beliefs, and so they were trying to take that away, and use the fact that the children are going to need to have these vaccines. And folks were protesting here in Connecticut just last month just about that and saying, no, it's our right. We have a right to choose, and you're not going to take that away from us. You're not going to take that away from us. So it's an ongoing discussion. But again, relationships. At the end of the day, the charter schools still have to have relationships with the local Board of Ed, right?
Right.
So whomever it is, whose ever ear who sits on that local board that you can get to and sell your philosophy, your idea, your concept, your dream. It is truly about that, having all your ducks in order, in line, and then being able to have that one person that can go to bat with you and be able to convince the board, the local board, to be able to support the funding that is needed for the charter school that you want to bring into the community. But then again, you start with your parents. You start with a group of like-minded folks that believe in the philosophy. That's what happened here in New Haven with our local charter Montessori school. We have the first one here, and it started with one of my parents who just took it and ran with it. She just truly believed in the philosophy, the Montessori philosophy, and is young and has the wherewithal, and went to school, got her master's, and was able to come back and she worked along with those parents to get this Montessori. Right now, it is doing birth 0 to 6, but the goal is to go up to middle school within this charter, this Montessori charter school. And again, like-minded folks coming together for the common cause of educating, giving parents an alternative to the, in a choice of a different curriculum and philosophy, and and then just willing to attend the local board meetings and just be there. Go to the local your local, I don't know, councilman, alderpersons. I don't know what your governing body in Charleston. Are they alder people or councilmen?
It's councilmen. It's everybody. It's everybody. You would.
Mm-hmm.
So many people in the hand of this education part here in Charleston, and that's why, it's so sickening that, I'm totally upset because, you just got these kids now pushing paper, and and it's all because, you still want to get that funding for each child that you get a year, so you just say, I don't care. I'm going to push them these papers. They just want to do these assignments. Some things my daughter, they don't know. Some of these things is just like they're giving them worksheets just to say, hey, we hold them accountable to do something, and there tells me y'all don't care about these kids' education, even though I knew that in a sense, but the proof is in the pudding, you know.
Now you really know. Huh. Now you really know.
You really don't care. You really don't care. So now I feel like us as parents, myself, even though that I'm a social worker, and I'm in ministry as well because I have my master's in biblical counseling and I want to implement that as well. But as a parent and advocating for my kids and having other parents like-minded with me as well should know, hey, let's stand up because we have to stay up and educate our children ourselves. We can't depend on someone else because right now the proof is in the pudding. And it's, you know, it's not mind-blowing to me because, like I said, I knew it. I could have seen it. But at the end of the day, these are kids that's being affected of it, you know what I'm saying, and these are households that's being affected of it as well. But now, you know, we can't have a solved story. It's like, what we're going to do now. Let's go from here. Let's get a plan. We got to see what's we need funding. We need things together for our people, or and just like you said, segregation or whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore to me right now what they want to call it, racism, whatever, you know, however they want to call it. At the end of the day, we would get this type of education out of the community, and you know, the different people already segregation anyways. I'm in a different district than Charleston district. I'm in you would call like the district that's better than Charleston district. I'm in Dorchester County now, and they seem like it's so sedity. They got more funding here, whatever. It's all the same. You know, it's no different. My daughter gets threats in a in school than if we was in a charter school in Charleston County where I'm originally from. You know, she get more violations or dog, you know, sniffing for drugs and stuff in this Caucasian school, and you could only imagine every day I was getting little alert calls, you know. So yeah, it is, you know, but this is where the money is, you know. This is where the money is supposedly. So, you know, like I said, it's just time right now that we just need to just stand up, and we already see they do not care because there's no way that y'all just say, hey, one day them kids are in school, the next day school is closed. Or, so the school is closed. Now these kids are thinking, oh, am I going back to school? Or you know, they don't even know. How could you traumatize kids and you're trying to educate them?
That's the buzzword. That's the buzzword, trauma. This is trauma. Listen, this is trauma, but this is the evidence of post-traumatic stress disorder because it won't hit till later.
That's right.
So when you think about women who get in trouble because it took them 2 years to say something or 20 years to say something because they got duped. They didn't know. They didn't know until they knew. You see what I'm saying? And so in court, they ask you, when did you find out? And you can't say when it was COVID or you hit it. You got to say yesterday. Yesterday. I just realized yesterday. Because right now, the federal government owes every child that is a legal resident of the United States free education. Parents don't have to accept it. They could pay for private school, send their kids to England, to boarding school if they got the money. But everybody that's a child has the right to education here, and they have other rights, too, that are being violated right now, as well as everybody's human rights on a number of different levels. So while they're changing those laws, they're changing the laws that you were just talking about, Denise. Like, they're changing they're moving the responsibility from the government to parents, and that's been in the pipeline for a minute. And so these laws are slipping right up under our nose. Right under our nose. So remember early on I sent you a packet. In it had every council member's name and phone number. It had the superintendent's phone number, I don't know if I did every principal, but I know I did the Congress people, either the city council or whatever you guys call them, the mayor, his assistant, what is the other thing? what's that society everybody has? They do all the businesses.
Oh, the board chamber,
Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. All of those numbers are in there. All of them. You just have to start asking questions. You just got to get on the radar. So when the systems go, they've heard from you already. You see what I mean? You got to start, reach out to those people, say, yo, down Chia is real down Chia. Go use that. Use whatever you got to. Go find all the geekies. We're getting ready to get some celebrities on the line with us right here on this line. Because we have to go get our kids. We can't just because we could do certain things. I'm seeing kids whose parents will never be able to do it and don't expect them to do nothing but nothing. So they ain't going to spend no energy trying to do nothing. That's not right. That's wrong. That's why half of them will end up in orphanages if we don't step in now. And counseling, all of that is real, real good. All of it. We need all of it. But we need the academic side while they splitting up money to not forget who the money came in for or who you wrote the grants for. You wrote the grants for the inner city, urban, Title I, Century 21 kids. And now y'all splitting it at the top?
Yeah. Right.
Come on, that's got to stop. Stop. It's been going on for too long. I know how that money go in black holes because I've had my money in budgets disappear. And I work with school systems, not just New Haven, several school systems. You know, all you can do is hire people, so all you got is a bunch of people. And so they got more people than the law allows. I'm all for overhauling the school system, just like every city government and every county government and every state government, every federal government. It's too many of y'all and your kids and their cousins and their husbands and their aunts and their uncles eating up everything. It is time to overflip this thing because the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the just. And we've been out here doing the work. I'm going to get mine, and I hope y'all are with us. I hope you're with us because this is level playing field. I work with the city of New Haven. Y'all seen when I was on Facebook? You seen me running with them kids? You seen me? You see it? You see it? You see it? If I was out there now, you would be the whole world will be able to see everything God is doing. But He said no. They can't see this. They can't see this. But y'all could share it. They can see glimpses of it. So you have to agree to do that. Like the information has to get to people. They have to get to people through people. And I'm getting raw, straightforward, direct downloads from heaven.
Wow.
60 days, I wasn't even thinking about these people. I wasn't. March 8th, the paperwork was due to New Haven. Then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm at least got that on my schedule, you know. A week later, boom, a bomb in Gilead. A week later. And that's when we started the roundtable again, remember? I was like, okay, guys, I just put the plan together now. I had to write it. So let's do it. And then we started talking about, we on week 4 of COVID. In the year of 2020, we are in the midst of making history, and then God has blessed us to document it. And I'm grateful. I'm honored. I was hoping Lady Kim would get on the phone, and I did hear a little beep and wonder if she is on the line. Is Lady Kim on the line?
I haven't heard anything. I don't think so.
Oh, you would know, Dre. Well, we will send our hello.
Try to call her, or?
No, I thought she was going to join in at 10:30.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. We'll get her next time. But thank you, everybody, for coming on the line. And Denise, you had a question for Lady Kim about the charter school process and how it works with Montessori. A charter school is any school you want it to be. The charter school is just another designation through the U.S. government on the category of school or the you know what I mean? The kind of school, you know what I mean? So the Montessori school can be a charter school. That's the only way I see it. It's virtual, But because of the environment we're in, I do want to plant at least 1 or 2 physical buildings. You see what I'm saying? So that there's a physical presence somewhere. And I think one of them should be in Charleston because you already have space. It can be small. It doesn't have to be large. It can be on the counseling side of things. You see what I mean? It can be anything we can dream up because this is the time to dream. You can have anything you want from the federal government. They're the easiest people to work for. Am I lying, Kaye Harvey?
Right.
They're easier than any local person because they're scrounging. They the local politicians. Let me tell you why I stepped out of politics. The local politicians, they are fighting for pots of a pie. Like, that's why you don't see them. You don't see blue and red fighting right now. It's a peaceful time on Capitol Hill because D.C. got money to split. There ain't been no school. There ain't been no school in a month. There ain't been no libraries in a month. They got money to divvy up. So they don't have no argument for each other right now. They ain't even looking for your vote right now. They could care less because they got you with the stimulus. So they already stuffed you somewhere. So then there's a third of the population who will ask some questions, write some stuff, and be mad and complain and start organizing something. But you got to do something, and the only way to do it is through politics. You have to go to the people that you voted in because they're the ones splitting this money. They're the ones who took the money from our children. They're the ones. And the reason why nobody does anything in the Board of Ed, the city government, the local government, is because whoever that was that they voted for, that person gave them really nice jobs where they can have really nice houses and drive really nice cars. But those cars come with car notes, and those houses come with mortgages that they never knew how to manage. And they're going to be upside down with that hourglass. And the wealth of the wicked is stored up from the just. I guarantee you all that money that's been ransomed, they've been ransoming us for years. This is just the flip side of it. It's retaliation. So they ransomed our school stuff. They ransomed our law stuff. They ransomed the courts. Come on, they ransomed bank records. They stealing 2 pennies from everybody every other day. You see what I'm saying? That's billions of dollars that nobody ever saw. That's coming right back to some people. Watch. More. Oh, it's a sweeping. I'm telling you. The gates are open. The floodgates are open. The floodgates are open. The transfer of anything is right here now, and it's because of the foreigners that they gave the education to. They gave the education to them instead of us, and we loyal people. You would have been better served to give it to us, but you wouldn't. You mistreat us instead because we got melanin? So it must be something about this melanin, right? Something about it. Is that really it, or is it our hair that we were forced to play with during Corona? You should see my natural hair. Lord have mercy. The world ain't ready. They're not ready. They're not ready, but we are ready. I think we've been positioned for a time as this. We were born positioned. We got Denise with 3 different levels of education on the front line of Urban Academics. In Charleston, where we already know the education system for black kids is hidden, shelved under a rock, and we know it for certain. It don't exist. We know it for certain. We dug in it. She and I together. She on her feet. Listen, God set us up, okay? I was like, Denise, look what I found. It's a whole bunch of Title I schools in Charleston. She was like, where they at? I know some of them, but I can't, we knew which ones because we knew which ones the poor kids went to. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't written anywhere. Wow. And then once we found one, we found a whole bunch of them.
Wow.
And not only that, the hidden information about the McKinney-Vento.
Right. How about that? Yes. Yeah.
You're doing here.
Right.
That is just, and they've been getting away so long with it because our people do not speak. Our people accepted anything, just accepting whatever. But my thing about it is just as well as you have to advocate for yourself because you're advocating for your unemployment, the stimulus check, your rent help, or whatever these things are. I don't understand why y'all need to break down the doors about this education system, about what's going on with these kids here, that they're not.
I know this. If the schools don't file whatever they're supposed to file, and they're not good at following directions from federal government, listen to what I'm saying. Obama earmarked $5.3 or $6.3 billion for education reform years ago. That's part of all of this. It went to the states. Some states took some states straight up turned it down. All they had to do to get it was submit a form of what they're going to do with it, some kind of idea or whatever, and they could get up to whatever. A lot of the states didn't accept the money for whatever reason. Some people say because they thought it was his money and they don't want no black money, but whatever. That's ignorant and stupid. But anyway, a lot of states didn't take the money. Okay, so those might be the same states who never had a stay-home order. There are 7 states who, I took the link, but I didn't read it. But there are 7 states who never even subscribed to this, and I'm going to find out why. Because it's stupid. Once they say it, they're going to tell you why. They're going to tell you why. Mm-hmm. But you got to be inside, and I would never have been inside if it wasn't for a true and living God. And I'm on the inside of both sides, education and mental health. At the same time, Lord, really?
Yeah.
Really? I ain't 90 days in. I ain't get my cell phone yet.
And Charleston, I don't mean to interrupt you. In Charleston, they have a grant that they just got awarded. And I have a guidance counselor. She was a social work guidance counselor that I reached out to her to ask her, like, hey, how can I, get involved in this this funding that you all are getting because of mental health here. So they're about to get funding because they want more help for the kids because the guidance counselors can't do it all. The social workers can't do it all. And so now they're
when is it due? When do you have to turn that around?
I got to look at it because they just got the funding, or they just announced it like in February, March, or what, at the beginning of this year, and then everything just collapsed with school and stuff, So
right. So that's just like McKinney-Vento. Remember, I had the contract for McKinney-Vento. It wasn't signed by the lawyer, whoever that person was, but it was signed by the McKinney-Vento person and me. And it was just frozen. And I didn't speak to her by voice last week, but she texted me and said she was on some kind of call getting the final details of whatever, and she would hit me back. And I've been so busy trying to figure out how to make sure I get in where we got to get in. We got to get it. We got to get it now. And the way we get it is because nobody knows how to go get those kids better than PMASH. It's just a matter of putting the stuff together, and now I know which way to go. The other thing that came up today was the fact that, and it came through you, Denise, you mentioned something that I thought was huge, and why I didn't write it down. Because I'm so arrogant sometimes I think I can remember everything. Jesus. Okay, hold on. You said you asked Kaye about Montessori and this, and then you told her about your daughter. And you were talking about your daughter, and you were talking about your baby. Oh, boy. Oh, it was something significant, very significant that I thought was niche. Like we can go there. We can find out what's that about. And find, what was it? Oh, but you know what? We record these. Isn't that wonderful? Yes. Isn't that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my. I think the world is in trouble, Kaye, because our meetings start at 9:30, and it's 11:15 now, and we're always on the phone over an hour or what. I mean, not like we want to be. Once in a while, I say, we got to go. We can't do this all the time, and I just hang up to give people a break. But they would just keep on going, and so would I, and so would you, and so would anybody who's supposed to be on this call. You see what I'm saying? So these round tables are going to be edited, and they're going to be very nice to listen to, but they're going to only have pictures on them. So they'll have a picture of you, and then they'll have a picture of the Urban Academics logo and some like written stuff. You see what I'm saying? It won't be about any of us. Will be introduced like in the description or whatever, but it'll be about whoever the guest is and whatever the title is. So for this, I think we talked about Montessori, the difference. It is from charter is not, as they don't compete. They're not in the same category, so they go together. But I think just before we go, I would love for you to describe the difference between a Montessori environment and a traditional public school environment.
Well, I can start out by saying that the leader of the classroom, the adult in the classroom, is just that. She facilitates the environment and sets up the environment according to the age group. So there's the 4 developmental stages, and so it goes from 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, and then 18 to 24. And so those environments are prepared with the developmental needs that meets the child where the child is. And so the materials are designed so that the child is able to develop the 5 senses and is constantly being encouraged and supported individually and at their own pace, and that there's not you got to get this by the end of the week. No, it's at your developmental level and stage. And so I truly believe that the investment in the materials and making sure that each developmental stage has the environment prepared for the children of those different levels, and the teacher knowing her role, not there to push the child into a corner to where the child feels like he has to come out fighting and defending himself, but the moderator, the facilitator, the leader, and I'm using those words as opposed to teacher because I think once we hear the word teacher, we get a picture in our mind of someone who stands in front of the classroom, right, and, gives information and interacts with children, may have 30 children or 25 children in the classroom, and it's the Montessori environments are smaller, and they're designed specifically for those children that in that particular, like I said, developmental stage. So without the training, without understanding where Maria Montessori herself came from, with her being the first doctor, female doctor in Italy to graduate from the University of Rome, and then, be given back in the 1800s, how dare you as a woman, first of all, go to college and then become a doctor? Okay, we're going to assign you to this insane asylum. And it was there that she was able to, formulate her philosophy and put it into practice. And then take it. And what she did was what did she do? She went back to the community. She went back to the slums, right? Where the parents who had to work 15, 20 hours, and the children were just running rampant in the streets of Rome. and went back and used her Casa de Bambina as her template. And so, and that when I learned that her whole reason for starting the movement, the Montessori movement, it moved me. Because I said, see, that's what we need to do. We need to go into our communities, into our neighborhoods, and present, alternatives to our parents, and say, here's something that you can choose. And if it's not Montessori, we need to be able to say, here, you need to know what the plan is for your state, for your community, in regard to our children. So it again, it's the teacher being prepared, the environment being prepared with the Montessori materials that were designed for, and then what she did, and it all comes down to respecting the child as a human being, and making sure that the children have access to anything that's going to stimulate the use of their five senses and the hand. Just how important. I mean, we spend so much time on understanding using our hands, and once again, if we think about it, our school system now, we promote so much, this college education, and yes, college is important, but everybody is not college material, college bound. And so we miss those children who can use their hands, who's God's gift, to be a mechanic, to be a beautician, to be a chef, a cook. They took all of the plumbers and electricians, when they took all of those opportunities out of the public school system because of integration. There was a time when you could graduate high school and you would be a licensed electrician or a plumber, or a beautician, or, you can go on and you could almost be an LPN when you graduated high school. All of those things were taken out of the high school because of integration, because they did not want us to have access to that resource. And so when you know that there are other ways that we can provide our children with the knowledge and the skills and keep them, engaged and happy and thirsty and wanting to learn, wanting to know, that's the joy of education. That's what we should do, and that's what Montessori. That's what I truly believe. The joy of learning, and just wanting to learn everything, be a lifelong learner. And again, I think one of the things, I've been in Connecticut for the past 3 months, and so I took it upon myself to download and read the Connecticut State Board of Education's 5-year plan, which went from 2016 to 2021, and just looking at what the outcomes are and the expectations and some of the actions. And I said, if each one of us at this round table takes the responsibility to look at your state's comprehensive plan and the actions that they are saying that they are going to do in that plan, even if we just focus on one of those actions, we can make such an impact on the system itself, whether it's in South Carolina, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Arizona, But knowing what the comprehensive plan is and what they say their actions are going to be and why they're what the rationale is behind this plan that they have, I think that's a beginning. That's something that we can start as a discussion around our round table. So I know I'm just all over the place because there's so much that I want to be able to share. So I know we were talking about the Montessori and the difference, but it always leads me to knowing why having access to alternatives is important as well, and that's what I think. And that's what charter schools are. Those are alternatives, because we see that what they say that is in the plan and what their actions, but they never follow through. But it's our responsibility to know what they said that they're going to do and then hold them accountable to doing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I agree. And that's what time it is. That's exactly what time it is. Like I know for certain we've been doing it too long. It was definitely time. It's just the way they're doing this is just wrong. It's just not right. It's not fair. That's all I'm saying. I'm all for change. I've been screaming it from the rooftops for years. I went into when the mayor switched to New Haven. I said, "Give me a broom and I will sweep the whole place clear and have a whole new crew in 2 weeks, and you could send me home." And they thought I was playing, and I wasn't, because I don't care. They already talk about me all day and all night. So, and I'll walk right through there. My little dress on, sure will. Walk right through there with my broom and sweep in stilettos. Sure will. Have my dress on and start sweeping with that wide broom like the maintenance man. Like, yes, believe it. But they didn't take me serious. I was dead serious. I told her she couldn't do anything. The mayor before her was there 26 years. Come on. And it was only like 3 people who left. There's nothing you could do with that. Politics is not what we think it is. And so they want your vote for what? Like, y'all, I mean, I don't get it. Like, we're not asking any questions, not to the right people, but we got to get, I don't know what the schedule is for Congress. Now it's time, Kay, to start writing the songs for, like, Capitol Hill. We already did the preamble. We did a song to that. We did it in South Carolina, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did it at one of those Rockingham, I think, with those kids down there. Yeah, We the People, in order to form a perfect union. I got that one. But we need one about, like, the law. Like, you know how they have, back in the day, they did a bill on Capitol Hill. But it ain't sitting on Capitol Hill now. They passing them 19 a day, and nobody's arguing about it. Wow. What is it? The West Wing and the right wing and the brown wing and the blue one and the red pill and the green pill. What is it? What we got to do? And the black people that's elected, they don't tell us process, so we're not able to, we're not able to change anything because we don't go through the right channels to change it. You got to make them do it. Because that's what their job is. But we don't. Once they get in, we don't do nothing either. You can't blame them. Ain't nobody asking them to do nothing. And they accept the job. Everybody's chasing them for jobs. And that's what they got. Jobs. That's all they got. They got a job for you to chase them around. And I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Question. What's the grade level for Montessori? Can it go up to high school, or is it just for pre-K to elementary, or what's the grade level?
For say it again.
For Montessori, is there a grade level?
No, that's what I was saying. It's broken down into developmental stages. So
I thought you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes from 0 to 6. 6, then 6 to 12, 12 to 18. These are the years, 12 to 18. So the classrooms they broke it down 0 to 3 and then 3 to 6. But they will share the environment. So it's not classes. It's not. Yeah, it's actually the developmental stages. So that's how. So our 6-year-olds, 6, 7, 8, 9, that group will be together, and then 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds will be together, and so it's yes. So it's if you look at it through the 4 developmental stages, but then within those developmental stages, we still break it down again by 3 years. So there's no classes. Yeah, there's no grade level because we learn according to life, right? And
right.
where we are in life, and so understanding. So when you break down the developmental stages of the brain and what's happening with the brain at those particular stages, then you can understand where the child is, and then you just kind of guide them and direct them and move them, and so that they are able to think and make decisions and be analytical and all of that. By the time we're 3, right, we are who we are, and so once we understand that and kind of know that, we see what happens with our children in regard to their temperament and their patience and their attention span and all of that. By 3, we see it. And so if you're able to create an environment that's going to be conducive to them to be productive, then that's what you do. But you have to be observant, and you have to be willing to just sit and observe and watch. Observation is the key in Montessori. Because if I don't observe what you're doing and how you're doing it, how am I going to help to guide and direct you? Mm-hmm. So observation, which is one of the key things in science. Because remember, Maria Montessori was a scientist. She was a doctor. Mm-hmm. Observation is key in science.
Well, I love it. And I also love the idea of person-centered education, and I want that to be one of our options as well. And I think that's more of a combination of Montessori, or like Whitewood, where Mark and Monet went to school, was similar to Montessori, but they didn't call it that. It was just a private school. But their philosophy was more, really relaxed, and they allowed them to, go at their own pace. But I think the observation piece is highly underrated, and I think that's where we need to go. I think we should be an online learning environment, but we have to be research-focused because this is all very new, and we're at the ground floor of the most exciting time on earth. You know what I'm saying? And I see it that way. I don't see it as a bad time. I see it as a wonderful time to be alive, like to be a part of it, to think my father saw President Obama become president. I thought that was enough because I never thought I would see a black president. So I know the pride in his eye, you know what I mean, the pride in his step and his swag. My father was like, yo, you know what I mean? Like everybody was like, yay, you know what I mean? And this is his vision, and we can't let them distort it. It's not meant to overtake parents and children. It was meant to make or to force or to coerce parents to take partnership with teachers and administrators. Like parents only want to come fight. You know what I mean? They don't want to come until there's a problem. You don't come support anything. Your son is a star basketball player. I ain't never seen you come to one game. You know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with that. Did you know that? You don't? Maybe they don't. You see? So that's where the counseling piece comes in. Maybe they didn't know.
Right.
Maybe the child was just mad and never asked. You just think they're supposed to know. A lot of people are that way, you know. I learned that. Some people think you can read their mind. You know, and we can't read minds. Tell people what you want. Straight like that. You know, a lot of stuff could be avoided, especially with young people. They're the most resilient people on earth. They keep me alive. I swear I run to the children. I run to the children.
Yep.
Let me not know what to do. Let me not know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm going to find my mate. I'm going to find her. I'm finding them kids. I am. Or go to the center. I'm going where some children are. You know, you know, we are limited. We can't do everything, but we must admit, Andre, Denise, Patrina, and Kaye. I'm not Kaye, Kim, wherever you are. We gotta admit we were on to this last year. We were talking about these very same things, and certain things were like, seriously. Something was going on, and we knew it. Like, we just couldn't put our finger on it. That's why I can't wait to go back and listen to this stuff. It just never seems enough time. I got so much to do to make sure we are on point for this. So, you know, it may take a minute, but I know some of this is definitely worthy, and I'm going to maybe over the weekend I can set it up on Google Drive and have my computer just transcribe it. Yeah, because it can do that. Once I download them, just let it transcribe it and tell, it'll, put it in the computer. And then we have the audio and the written word of all. That's why I was trying to get it on video, because the video platform, as soon as you finish a video, you could press the button transcribe. But they don't let you do it from this piece. I don't know why they don't let you do it from an MP3. It's the same thing. Well, really, it's not. The other one is an MP4. So maybe that's why. Maybe you can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But anyway, I'm so grateful you were here. This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. All of us could go on forever, I promise you. So I'm not going to do that. But we meet on Mondays. It's a PMOSH collaborative, because we're trying to grow membership into Urban Academics. So they're different. Urban Academics is the arm that disseminates information, news, maybe product reviews. Everything is children and family, all academic related. We want to take over Urban Academics. That's the name. That's the name. Urban Academics is our name. So we want anyone that wants to know anything that's truth to come to us, because we got it. And I got it. I do. So what I'm trying to do before we fully start reaching out to people, and if you guys pray with me, I'm really close to finishing this, and I have to do it this way, because we all have to say the same things. Like, our words have to be exactly the same. And Dre, that's why I didn't bother with the front of the page we talked about, because it's bigger than just that page. So I'm trying to do, because I got to set it up right on the blog, on the site where people come to register, because we both have to register. So right now, Kaye, until we get all of our ducks in a row, we'll start recruiting for tutors and teachers. We will start the process of getting a pipeline of interested folk. So we have a website that Dre set up that's going to be the portal where the applications come in. So we'll have an 800 number, and the 800 number will come to me or whoever's on call. We rotate, however we do it. I'm hoping, Kim will answer them all. If they go to a voicemail, then she can grab them, because she's the administrative person. That's what I'm hoping, but it may be too much for her in a minute, because I know now how to market like you wouldn't believe. God, I can't believe what's about to happen. Y'all are in good shape. But so it can go pretty fast. So we want to not go too fast, because we have to have the portal set up. And so with a school, though, you can go into the U.S. Department of Education's platforms. Now, both of those platforms exist outside of the U.S. Department of Education. So if we wanted to, we can establish a private school first. But if you establish a private school, then you're looking for tuition. But now might be a good time to launch a private school with the right wording around Montessori. Like if we can use everything that I've learned and use Montessori and niche it down to something specific about Montessori and have it online, we could probably do both. You see what I'm saying? So we can definitely just, PMOS is just a matter of putting the trainers up, because that's where we get stuck. Because orientations now you can't even meet in person. You got no choice but to put your trainers on the internet now. That's what procrastination will do. So we should have did it. And I have most of that stuff. It's just a matter of putting it together. And every day I come home with more content. Every day.
Wow.
Every day. Even today. I mean, I got green screen, light, camera, action. I'm using it every day. God give me to walk in that building. I don't care if I got puffs under my eye. I don't care. It can't get no better than what's right here. I can't buy this equipment. And they done stole my equipment. I deserve to be in where I'm at. I'm right there where God put me, and I'm there for a reason. It's a shame to walk out of there and not use that equipment every day. Nobody's using it. Underutilized, shut down. I got access. The devil is a liar. And here we come. And that's the truth. Here we come.
Amen.
Today, it's the truth. It's the truth. And then there's a guy there who really works on another side, but he sets up the light, makes the camera, tells me where to stand. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Nobody but a true and living God. Nobody but a true and living God. Nobody but God. But again, I can go on forever and ever and ever. And one thing I want to say before we hang up is that there's nothing that I haven't seen a child. I've never seen a child not make the bar. They always rise to the occasion. And if we keep that at the forefront, there's nothing we can't do, because the world can't go on without children, and God will always have a place for us on this earth, because they are his children. So we are safe because we are serving the least of these from our hearts, not for money. And God knows that for sure.
Yes,
so as we go into our respective places for the week, we'll meet some of you on Monday, some of you on Thursday, but either way, take care and be safe, and we'll meet you back here at the Urban Academics Roundtable. We'll meet you right back here at the Urban Academics Roundtable, same time, same place.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Good night. Yes,
it's been a pleasure meeting all of you.
Thank you, Ms. Kaye. Nice meeting you. Hope to meet you and see you in person
soon. I know. We'll get through this, and we'll be able to be socially connected. Physically, I should say physically connected. Yes,
ma'am. Thank you.
And blessings to
Talk
you.
Talk to you later. Good night, Andre. Good night, Ms.
Good night, Andre.
Good night, Patrina. Good night, Kaye. Nice meeting you. Nice talking to you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll do it again soon, hopefully.
All right. Yes. Looking forward. Blessings. Good night. Ciao.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.